Welcome to CandleLight Audiobook. The Secret Misses. Chapter 521. Luna suddenly thought of something which she found a little weird. Angelo, just now the both of you were so close, that James even looked over to us. How come he didn't recognize you? At that moment, the gloominess on Angelo's face evaporated. When he heard Luna's question, he blushed, then said, "Actually, even though I was a fashion designer myself, but because I worked on the designs every day, I left all the networking to James. Thus, I did not care much about how I looked and dressed, so, even before my begging days, I didn't have a stellar image to begin with." Pfft, no wonder. You really are an odd one in the fashion design industry. Luna laughed. Imagine a fashion designer who cared little about their own image. And moreover, this guy could even torture himself to turn into a beggar. Luna coughed slightly, then gathered her thoughts. She evaluated the pretty boy beside her closely and reminded him, "The next time you're not allowed to be like that anymore. No more next time, in fact. A good-spirited face works wonders for your creations, okay? Most importantly, you have such a strong foundation that you're practically a living brand. You're too unappreciative of yourself. Look at that James, he dresses particularly and has put on even more makeup than a woman. He even wore colored contact lenses and waxed his hair, yet he's still not half as handsome as you." Angelo blushed further at her compliments. "Boss, you're too exaggerative." Luna raised her brows in mock surprise. "I'm not. If you don't believe me, just wait till you get a group of crazy female fans." Ha ha ha, even the devil was jealous of these good looks, so she was not exaggerating at all. If it was not for his talent in design, she would have already dragged him into the entertainment circle. "Right, what's the Golden Award? Is it really that amazing?" Luna asked curiously. It is considered China's most influential fashion design award. There is still half a month's time to register. It's a tight timeline, but, boss, I want to try." Angelo's eyes shone with determination. "You want to join?" "Of course, it's a good thing. If there's anything you need my help with, I will support you with my all." Luna patted Angelo's shoulder as she told him. "Thank you, boss. It means a lot to me. Previously, designing was just doing it as a hobby. Apart from design, he was not interested in anything else. However, this time, he was treating it as a career-driven task, as his belief and his goals. Most importantly, he wanted to prove to the person in front of him that she had made the right choice. At the Goldberg Corporation, CEO's office. Ever since the little bun came in, he had been holding onto the telescope and had not left the windowsill. Even lunchtime was spent eating and lying on the windowsill. He was practically a red little blob sitting as still as a stone. Theo looked up from his stack of documents and noticed that his son remained unmoving at the windowsill. He looked unhappy and said, "Little treasure, go sleep in the lounge area for a while." The little bun laid there without moving. "I'm not going." Theo shot his son a look and said, "Your Auntie Luna rested in that room a few days ago." Once the little bun heard that, he rolled off the windowsill and ran to the lounge area. He had finally coaxed his son into sleeping for a while. Theo breathed a sigh of relief and continued his work. However, not long after, the little guy was awake again and had changed his method of torturing his father. Obviously, lying on the windowsill to look out could no longer satisfy him. The little bun took out his own writing board and started to write. Chapter 522. The little bun quickly finished writing and ran up to show his father. "Why hasn't Auntie Luna picked me up yet?" Theo looked at the writing board and said, "She's busy." The little bun continued, "Is it because Auntie Luna doesn't want me anymore?" Theo replied, "You're overthinking." Little bun, "Then why hasn't she picked me up yet?" Theo replied again, "I don't know, you can send her a message to ask her." Little bun, "I don't want to. I'd disturb Auntie Luna." "Does Auntie Luna really like me?" Theo was speechless and his mouth twitched into a smile as he helplessly looked up from his mountain of work. This little guy was worried about disturbing Auntie Luna, but he wasn't afraid of disturbing his own father now. The unsettled little bun naturally did not worry about disturbing his dad at all and continued to ask 100,000 whys. Will Auntie Luna suddenly stop liking me? Auntie Luna hasn't come to pick me up yet. Could it be that she's taken a liking of other kids instead? Will Auntie Luna like me forever? Am I Auntie Luna's favorite baby? Theo was speechless by all of this. My wife, why haven't you returned yet? For the first time in his life, Theo felt that it was hard to take care of kids. At this moment, outside CEO Goldberg's office, the silence in the working area was suddenly broken by the sound of an excited voice. Hey, hey. My dearest babies, little master is back. Despite it being winter soon, at the entrance of the lift stood Cleo, wearing a short-sleeved floral blouse with a hula skirt on his waist and slippers on his feet. His hair was a mess, as if a reminiscence of his time by the sea. He was indeed an eye-catching sight. Nevertheless, even though he dressed like crap, he was still eye candy, and all the female employers shrieked emotionally. Second master. Second master is back. Second master, you're back. Didn't you say you were taking a 3-month holiday? Cleo handsomely ruffled his messy hair and laughed, ha ha ha. Of course, it was because I missed you guys. Second master, we really missed you too. Second master, the way you dressed today is really impressive. So handsome, so handsome, so handsome. Second master, can we take a picture together? What day was it? Lady Luck was on their side. Not only did they see the little master, even second master who had been on vacation for a long time returned. Please do. Right, babes, I've brought back some souvenirs for you all. Everyone gets one, Cleo said as he delightedly clapped his hands. Behind him, a few servants walked in carrying several big boxes. Everyone stared and saw that the boxes were filled with big coconuts. Cleo said arrogantly, these are all personally picked by yours truly. I almost broke my head getting these for you. Second master, you're too thoughtful. Such a special souvenir. I love it. Thank you, second master. Second master, can you please sign on my coconut? Mine too, mine too. Actually, can you sign on my body? As they watched the group of female employees rush up excitedly, all the male employees could not bear looking at the scene. Hey, if a person was born handsome, even if they had poor fashion sense, they could still win the hearts of a bevy of beauties by simply gifting coconuts. While they mulled this over, a few of them actually embarrassedly took a coconut to him for his signature. Chapter 523. After he was done with the employees, Cleo pushed open his brother's office door and announced, Brother, I'm back. One day lasts as long as 3 autumns when we don't see each other. Furthermore, it has been more than 3 autumns. I have you missed so much that, In the next second, he looked clearly at his brother in front of the desk. Cleo was stunned for a second before he covered his eyes and shrieked in disbelief, My goodness. What did I just see? What was his brother wearing? What was that? He thought that the sapphire blue color from the last time was already a miracle. Today, he actually saw his brother wearing red. Red, red. He dared to swear that his brother had never worn such a color in this lifetime. He didn't even need to ask to know where this idea came from. Just as he was recovering from his shock, he saw Little Treasure who lay on the windowsill in matching outfit in the same color. He was flabbergasted again. My God. I can't. I've just returned and you've tortured me like this already. Someone, prepare the plane for me, I want to return to my lonely island in the northern hemisphere. When he finally calmed down, Cleo started to be a busybody. He walked over and sneakily touched his brother's shirt. Did my sister-in-law get this? Looks like all this time when I was not around, the two of you have progressed well. Right, I heard that baby Little Treasure finally spoke, so I flew back immediately. Is it true that Little Treasure can speak again? He didn't even wait for a reply when he finished. He ran over to Little Treasure and fawned, Baby, quickly call me second uncle. Quick, quick, quick. To hear your voice, second uncle even ditched all of the hot girls. Little Treasure looked at Cleo like he was an idiot and started writing some words. Cleo looked over and only saw on the writing board, "Am I Auntie Luna's favorite baby?" Cleo was confused by this question because he was already flattering the child, so he answered, "Is this even a question?" "Of course, you are." Baby Little Treasure's eyes shone as he continued to write. Then, "Why hasn't Auntie Luna come to pick me up?" Theo looked at his brother and son from his desk, then unexpectedly explained to Cleo the current situation out of kindness. "From now on, Little Treasure will be living with Luna, but because Luna has some errands to run today, I'm temporarily looking after him." Cleo instantly understood and he replied, "Little Treasure, don't be anxious, your Auntie Luna must be working non-stop so that she can pick you earlier." "Little Bun, is work more important, or am I more important?" Cleo said, Of course, you're more important." "Little Bun, then, why hasn't Auntie Luna come to pick me up?" Cleo was speechless. Something was not right. Why did he return to the first question again? When he saw Little Treasure latching onto Cleo, Theo silently breathed a sigh of relief. He could finally work peacefully. After a while, Cleo, who was being pestered by Little Treasure holding up his writing board, screamed pitifully, "Hey! Little Treasure, have mercy on me. Don't ask any more questions." Have mercy on Cleo, who was good at coaxing but could barely handle Little Treasure's psychological attacks. Cleo looked at his brother, who was working calmly, and realized that it was no wonder he had been kind enough to explain the situation to him. So he had been waiting for him to all along. Pfft! Why did he have to trick him as soon as he had just returned? Finally, Cleo, who had initially entered in high spirits, dressed in his floral blouse and hula skirt, lay exhausted on the sofa. He extended his hand and said lifelessly, "Sister-in-law, come back quickly." Chapter 524. At that very moment, Luna, who was purchasing items with Angelo, suddenly sneezed several times in a row. Who could be missing her? Even though everything today had gone smoothly, by the time they were finished, it was already evening. Angelo took over the bags from Luna and said, "Boss, you should go home to rest, I'll handle the rest myself." Luna looked at the time on her phone and was worried that the little bun would be anxiously waiting too, so she nodded, "If there's anything, make sure to call me. Don't suffer by yourself." Understood. "Okay, I'll leave then, be careful on the road." Luna waved and reminded worriedly, "Oh right, remember to lock your doors at night and check the windows properly too." Angelo laughed. He couldn't help feeling like Luna was taking care of him like he was a girl now. After she bade goodbye to Angelo, Luna immediately rushed to Goldberg Corporation to fetch the little bun. When she thought about how she would be seeing the little bun soon, Luna's mood lightened up significantly, an entire day's fatigue vanishing. Just opposing Luna's good mood, at this moment in the CEO's office, Theo and Cleo were being tortured to the brink of a psychological breakdown. Cleo lay on the sofa like a dead fish, while the little bun determinedly raised his board to force him to answer the question. My God. I actually suddenly feel like, Little Treasure not speaking is a pretty good thing. He had tortured them without even speaking. Imagine if he could. Theo frowned and looked tired, yet he could neither hit nor scold him. He could not even say something mean, or else the wife would definitely be the first to go crazy. It was a good thing Cleo had returned in time today. If he had been alone, he would not have been able to handle it. Cleo suddenly took out a mirror and said seriously to Little Treasure, "Baby, don't ask me any more questions. I'm giving you this mirror. Just tell it, this is a magic mirror. You can ask it if Auntie Luna really likes you, don't ask me any more please." The little bun looked at the mirror in Cleo's hand and threw it aside mercilessly. Then, he raised his board. "Why hasn't Auntie Luna picked me up yet?" Cleo was on the verge of tears, so he covered his ears. No, he covered his eyes and said, "Ah. Baby, go to the windowsill and look again, maybe she's already here." Little Bun blinked, hesitated, then put down the writing board and ran over to the windowsill to look. Cleo secretly peeked at the little guy and prepared to take this opportunity to run away. However, all of a sudden, he saw Little Treasure throw the telescope and writing board aside to race like a little rocket towards the door. Cleo raised his brows, then walked over to the windowsill and looked down. Indeed, a woman's shadow appeared. "My dear sister-in-law, you finally came." Outside of the CEO's office, the employees who were busy working saw the CEO's office door suddenly flung open. What came after was the cute little master running with his short, stubby legs towards the elevator. Ah! The little master is out. Many employees who had not yet seen the little master at all widened their eyes in surprise. It looked like they were focused on their work when in fact, their attention was gathered on the little glutinous rice ball. Chapter 525. When they saw Little Treasure standing at the lift entrance anxiously, a beautiful female employee immediately walked up to him and asked gently, "Little master, do you want to go up or down? I'll help you press the button." Little Treasure frowned and thought, Auntie Luna is already downstairs, she's probably waiting for the lift too. If he took the lift now, he might get separated from Auntie Xiao-Shi. Even though he was really anxious, it was better for him to wait here. Thus, the little guy did not say anything and quietly waited at the lift. His thoughts were with Auntie Luna and he did not notice the employee beside him at all, much less hear what she said. The pretty female employee was a little embarrassed when she saw that the little master was ignoring her. Even though she was unwilling, she did not dare anger the little master, so she could only back off and dared not disturb him further. Several female employees opposite saw this and tittered, "How hilarious." She wanted to brown-nose the boss to the point of disturbing the little master. She thinks that she's all that just because she's a little pretty. CEO Goldberg has never looked at her twice, so she actually thought of going for the little master. Little did she know that it's even harder to be on the little master's good side than it is to be on CEO Goldberg's. Yeah, before this, I heard that many socialites tried to go through the little master in their bid for the title of Imperial's First Lady, but at last, all of them returned dejected. Not only that, they were immediately issued a warning from the Goldberg family. Speaking of which, I wonder how the relationship between the legendary future lady boss and the little master is? I think that just because you're good with men doesn't mean you would be immediately liked by kids. You're right, kids are usually very unaccepting about the existence of stepmothers. I think there's still a possibility this might not be the future lady boss after all. The little bun stood unmoving and poker-faced at the lift entrance, not going up or down. Earlier Mary had already been embarrassed by him, so no one dared to go up to ask the little bun anything. They could only peep at him, their curiosity growing by the second. What's the little master doing? He's stood there for practically an hour now. I don't know, I can't make sense of this at all. Pfft, it's common knowledge that our CEO Goldberg is unpredictable. Who knew that the little master also inherited this trait from his father? He's totally unpredictable too. At this moment, the elevator chimed and the elevator doors opened. The little bun's poker face suddenly glowed. A person walked out of the elevator. Upon seeing who walked out, he immediately turned gloomy. Little master? Do you need anything? The male employee who had walked out of the elevator was afraid of the little master's sharp look. What had he done to offend this honorable little god now? The little bun pouted without a word. His little face looked really unhappy and his cold aura was an exact replica of his father's. The male employer remained worried. Seeing the little master not saying anything, he felt caught in between to leave or not to, and a cold sweat broke out on his forehead. The time passed in minutes and seconds. As the little master looked increasingly sorrowful, everyone looked at each other worriedly, afraid that the little master's bad mood would reflect on them as bad luck. Just as the atmosphere was increasingly nerve-wracking, the elevator chimed and the lift door opened again. Only a long-haired woman in a yellow blouse and a mask on her face walked out. Chapter 526. When the masked woman walked out of the lift, the unpredictable little master who was akin to Hades earlier with an indifferent expression, suddenly looked like spring with pink flowers blossoming one after another. He opened up his short arms and looked up cutely, asking for a hug. When they saw the scary little Hades suddenly turn into a cute button, almost all the employees were stunned speechless. Luna walked out of the lift and was ready to walk forward. Unexpectedly, she looked down to find an extremely cute little bun waiting for her. Naturally, she could not resist and immediately bent down to pick the little bun up. Through the layer of her mask, she kissed the little bun on the cheek. "Baby, have you been waiting for me here?" The little bun put his hands around Auntie Luna's neck and inhaled the calming fragrance on her while he blushed. He pursed his lips and nodded obediently and adorably. All the employees present continued to look in stunned silence. The situation had taken such a sudden twist of events that they could not catch up. Luna squeezed the little bun and said, "Is your father still busy? Let's go see him." She had already arrived and she couldn't just take the little bun and leave, feeling like she should still greet his father. Even though the little bun wished Auntie Luna would immediately take him elsewhere and never return, he naturally would not reject her wishes and continued to obediently nod. "Whatever Auntie Luna says is right." Luna smiled as she patted the little bun's head and started walking towards the CEO's office. On the way, she noticed that around her were many people staring and she was thankful that she had decided to put on a mask earlier. As soon as the two went in, the people behind them immediately burst into gossip. "Ah! My God! The little master is too cute. I thought that the little master would be as cool as CEO Goldberg. Who knew that he could be this adorable? The way he smiled and opened up his arms for a hug earlier, my heart melted. If I had a son this adorable, even if he wanted stars from the sky, I'd pluck it for him." "Please, you think too much. Get a mirror for your coarse face. Would you ever have such good genes for your family?" "Damn it, I'm curious, who's that masked woman? Is she the same one who came to the company the last time? From her body and hairstyle, it should be the same one. As for who she is, we don't know. Hey, so sad, it looks like she's the official lady boss. She even settled the little master. How incredible." At this moment, a girl in the corner, who looked much younger than the rest, weakly raised her hand. I suddenly have a rash thought. This woman can't be little master's biological mother, can it? Otherwise, why would the little master be so clingy to her? It doesn't seem logical." The girl's guess obviously opened up a can of worms as everyone suddenly started an intense discussion. On the other side of the door, as Luna carried the little bun into the office, she was dumbfounded. She saw Cleo in a Hawaiian getup on the sofa, and her shock was similar to Cleo's when he saw his brother wearing red. "My God! Second Master! You're back! When did you return? My gosh! Your outfit, my eyes are about to turn blind. Even if you know you're handsome, you can't challenge the limits of aesthetics like this. Also, why do you look like your soul has left you? Too many hot girls on the island?" Chapter 527. Why do you look like your soul has left you? Too many hot girls on the island? As Luna said this, in order to not be a bad influence to the little bun, she covered the little bun's ears. When he saw Luna arrive, Cleo immediately got up and stared at the little bun. He looked angry as he complained, "You have the nerve to ask me? You should go ask your child, ask him how he tortured me earlier." A certain bun blinked, his huge naive eyes looking innocent. Luna looked at Cleo, then looked at the little bun, obviously believing the bun instead. "Stop saying nonsense. What's this got to do with my baby?" Cleo was exasperated, looking at how a certain devil child seemed to be acting innocent like a little angel. "Hey, you punk, stop pretending. Why are you still pretending? I'll expose your true colors." Cleo cunningly took out the writing board that little treasure had casually thrown to the floor and stuffed it into Luna's hands. "Look for yourself. See. If you still don't believe me after reading this, go ask my brother. For the entire afternoon, my brother and I were about go nuts from being tortured by him." Luna looked at Theo, who sat in front of the desk, and he did seem quite tired. Then, she suspiciously raised the writing board to see what was on it. When the little bun saw Luna holding his writing board, he was so anxious that he was about to cry. Sadly, he could not stop her in time, and Luna could already see what was scrawled on the board after casually flipping it. "Does Auntie Luna not want me anymore? Then, why hasn't she picked me up yet? When will Auntie Luna finish being busy? I don't want to. I'd disturb Auntie Luna. Does Auntie Luna really like me? Will Auntie Luna suddenly stop liking me? Auntie Luna hasn't come to pick me up yet. Could it be that she's taken a liking of other kids instead? Will Auntie Luna like me forever? Am I Auntie Luna's favorite baby? Luna was speechless. She never thought that she would be seeing the little bun's emotions being expressed as such. Luna was completely dumbfounded too. She held Little Treasure's writing board and stood there unmoving, stunned. After all, the little bun only used to write words that were simple and straight to the point. To be honest, it was her first time seeing the little bun writing so many words that they, in fact, filled the entire board. Everything was Auntie Luna, everything was about her. As she imagined the way Theo and Cleo had been asked to the point of breaking down, Luna started to find it hilarious. Yet, even more so, she felt waves in the depths of her heart, warming her entire soul, and she felt indescribably moved. Luna squatted down and hugged Little Treasure tightly. "Oh, little bun, my little bun, how are you so cute? Auntie Luna loves you so much. Auntie Luna definitely won't suddenly stop liking you. Auntie Luna definitely won't like other kids. Auntie Luna will like you forever. You are Auntie Luna's favorite baby. Auntie Luna definitely won't not want you." Little Treasure, who initially felt sad and hopeless, was suddenly overjoyed as if he had invisible little wings behind him dancing energetically. Theo was speechless. His son got to hear the sweet sound of words he could only wish for once more, and he even received so many in a row. Cleo, who had failed to rat on the little bun, was sad. Even the flare of the hula skirt on his waist had lost its life. What cruel words. You guys have no humanity. Never mind if the big one wanted to torture him, now even the little one was torturing him too. His only consolation was that, fine, this time the big one was tortured too. Chapter 528. Second Master, how are you back so soon? I thought you were going to be traveling for 3 months. Luna raised her brows and asked. Cleo held his chin, then scoffed, "Of course, I was worried about you guys, so I came back from miles away. At last, you guys inhumanely take turns to torture me the moment I return." Luna could not help but laugh, still not believing him. When Cleo saw that she did not believe him, he could not handle it anymore, and the messy hair on his head lightly swished before he said, "Fine, it's too boring on the island. To stay for a few days is paradise, but to stay longer will drive me crazy. My wild soul still belongs to the hustle and bustle of cities and our country's hot girls." Luna was speechless. She had actually expected this. Very quickly, Cleo was excited again. His eyes shone as he said, "Tonight, my friends want to throw me a welcome home party. Do you and my bro want to join for some fun?" Luna hugged the little bun and rejected without hesitation, "No, thanks, I still have to take care of the child." Cleo swiftly replied, "Just bring the kid along." Luna shot him a look and finally could not hold it in anymore. "Cleo, are you starting your nonsense again?" It seemed he had forgotten who had brought Little Treasure to the bar the last time and even lost him. Cleo shrunk back, then replied weakly, "Luna, your tone, the way you're scolding me, you're increasingly becoming like my sister-in-law now. You." She was only this angry because of him. When he saw that Luna was really incensed, Cleo quickly explained, "This time won't be at the bar, it's only in my own bungalow. In fact, it's all very close friends, so they won't overdo things." Luna only softened her expression, but she had not yet let go of the argument. "Don't ask me, ask your brother, I'll listen to him." Cleo was unhappy when he heard this. Why? Why do you listen to him and not me?" "Luna, obviously, he's my boss." Cleo then replied, "I'm your boss too." Luna responded, "And he's your boss too." Cleo could not retort further. "They are torturing me again." At last, Cleo bitterly turned to Theo, who had not been saying anything, saying, "Bro, then you call the shots." Theo looked up at Luna, then said, "I've got no opinions, you decide." He obviously meant that he'll listen to his wife. Cleo could only turn to Luna again. Luna scratched her head and declared, then let me ask Little Treasure. Little Treasure, want to go play? Luna indicated that she would listen to the little bun. The ecosystem in play was unbelievably clear. Obviously, Little Treasure did not want to go. He wanted to be alone with Auntie Luna. But he met his father's eyes and thought of his big plans for the future, for the days to come. Little Treasure nodded unwillingly, indicating that he wanted to go play. He continued to hold back his tears in order to create opportunities for father and Auntie Luna, silently crying inside. Seeing the little bun wanted to go, Luna immediately said, "All right then, we'll go too." Theo nodded, obviously he would go too. Cleo the bachelor got up weakly and started, "To find someone I can and want to love most deeply, to wave singlehood farewell, a sentimental hopeless romantic and heartless person, come and wound me." He sang and left the place that was making him sad. Before he left, he did not forget to give her and Little Treasure a coconut each, since it was a souvenir. Luna hugged the coconut and felt her mouth twitch. "Big boss, then I'll take Little Treasure back to the apartment for a while. I want to change my clothes. Shall we meet later at Second Master's place then?" Theo, "Okay, see you." If Theo had known what she was going home to change into, she guessed that he would definitely not continue to obey everything she said. Chapter 529. At the Regal Riviera Hotel. After they returned to the apartment, Luna was a little worried. Cleo's party would probably be filled with people they knew within the circle, and most likely included people Theo knew well too. As Glory World's boss, there would probably be many people within the entertainment circle. Had it just been her alone, she would just attend. From the outside, it seemed like she was an artist that Cleo had personally recruited, so it would be normal for her to go and support him. However, she was now taking Little Treasure along too. Plus, Theo would be going, and when the three of them stood together, it would probably not look proper. Why did she feel like she was tricked by Cleo? Damn it, it seemed like she really has been. Pfft. With Cleo's IQ, she had actually fallen for it. Impossible. Luna's eyes flashed, an idea sparking. "Little Treasure, Auntie wants to put on makeup and change my clothes. I might take a while, wait for me." Little Treasure nodded without any complaints, and he obediently went outside to wait. After a while, Luna pushed open the bedroom door. Luna wore a black leather motorcycle jacket with washed-out ripped jeans and black riveted Doc Martens. Her hair was short and unruly, and with a smirk, she had practically transformed into the handsome bad boy that girls could not resist. The little bun who was sitting quietly on the sofa immediately turned his head when he heard the door, then, he blinked, and blinked again. Even though Auntie Luna had dressed up beyond recognition, the little bun could still recognize her immediately. In fact, he did so with a curious expression and then excitedly circled Luna several times. At last, he took up his writing board and hesitantly wrote a few words. "Uncle, Luna?" When she saw the little bun's words on the writing board, Luna's eyes darkened. "No, it's Brother Luna." Actually, she had been wanting to say this, but she was not sure who had taught Little Treasure to call her Auntie, and she felt old. She was obviously a big sister. If she was called sister, something did not seem right, probably because there would be a seniority hierarchical gap from Theo. It seemed like she did not have to ask to know who it was that let Little Treasure call her Auntie. However, now that she had changed her look, she could pretend to be young again for a while. "Little bun, do I look handsome?" Luna brushed her hair and posed handsomely. The little bun nodded and very supportively wrote on his board with bolded words, "Handsome." Night fell. At Platinum Palace, house number 7. Cleo's bungalow was right beside his brother's. Now the bungalow's entrance was lined up with so many luxury cars that he could practically have an exhibition of them. Many young and beautiful men and women got down from the cars and laughed in between conversations as they walked in. With the loud music in the bungalow and the brightly lit space, it was getting lively inside. What Cleo had said before this was not a lie. Everyone who came this time was people they knew well. There were many couples, both married and not, some even bringing their little ones. It could be called a party, but it was more of a gathering of friends, so things wouldn't get too out of hand. Obviously, with such a good opportunity, there naturally would be people with ulterior motives too. Very quickly, some beauties had already clung onto Cleo, asking, "Second Master, didn't you say your brother would be coming tonight too? Why don't we see him? Is it true? Is the CEO really coming? But, I heard CEO Theo has been really busy recently." Chapter 530. CEO Theo stays just beside Second Master, so it shouldn't take him too long to drop by. He'll probably give Second Master face and come, isn't that right, Second Master? Second Master, is your brother coming or not? You have to tell us. Cleo, who was being surrounded by a crowd of people, scoffed unhappily. Are you guys here to see me or to see my brother? Obviously we're here to see you. It's been so long, everyone misses you so much. Cleo's attractive face stiffened and he said, "How much faker can you get?" To prevent being compared to his brother's charming red suit, Cleo intentionally wore an especially bright pink color, looking like a delicious strawberry-flavored candy. While he complained about all the girls who were here to take their chances in a relationship, all the gorgeous girls cozied up to him and temporarily forgot about Theo. "Second Master, everyone was so bored to death all the time you were gone. We've all been looking forward to your return. Second Master, your outfit is so eye-catching. It suits you very well. You're so handsome. How did you get more handsome after we haven't met for just a few days?" Listening to all the compliments, Cleo finally felt better again. Yet just as a delighted smile started to form on his handsome face, sounds of shrieks coming from the door broke the air. "Ay. It's CEO Theo. Bro Theo. Bro Theo, you really came. Oh my God. Master Theo is wearing red today. Someone, please hold me, I'm about to faint." Cleo was speechless once again from being suddenly blatantly ignored. This cruel world. Where's the light and justice? Could it be due to his shining good looks that everyone else had gotten tired of aesthetics? It seemed like he'd have to change his tricks following this hoo-ha. First, he should be cool to the people around him for a few days, then intensely flirtatious. That should definitely be earth-shattering. As these thoughts raced through his mind, he saw his brother walk coolly towards him, and he could almost envision the man walking on an icy path with his own chilly breeze lending a flair or dramatics. Cleo instantly decided to forget about his grand plan and just continue to flaunt his God-given looks. Forget about that highly difficult challenge. Oblivious to the scorching gazes surrounding him, Theo walked straight to Cleo and sat down on the stool beside him before asking, "Where's Luna?" Cleo was speechless. The first thing he wanted to ask about was his wife. "She's not here yet," Cleo answered sharply. Theo was someone that one could only observe from afar and not mess around with, so even though the beauties on the side were swooning, they dared not randomly walk up to him. They could only observe him from a distance and gossip among themselves. Obviously, of course, there were some with more courage and guts. In the crowd, a woman wearing a red dress walked up to him and said, "Mr. Goldberg, long time no see." Theo looked at the girl who stood in front of him with a wine glass in her hand, then he frowned. A frigidness flashed across the depths of his eyes, then his icy gaze fell onto his brother. At his brother's sudden glare, Cleo almost choked on his booze. Damn it. Jesus. Why did this woman come over? Wasn't this Tiffany, one of the well-liked candidates from their parents' list of potential daughters-in-law, who also held the title of Imperial's #1 socialite, and was widely circulated as the woman who was most likely to be Theo's new wife? Chapter 531. Cleo did not think Tiffany would come tonight. Suddenly, he looked like a tragedy had befallen unto him. "It's not my fault, I didn't even invite her." As lamented his situation, Cleo skimmed the crowd and was even more stunned. My gosh, what was this? He suddenly realized that out of all the dolled-up girls tonight, half of them were secretly stealing glances at his brother, with quite a few of them from the matchmaking list his parents had put together. Even though he had not invited these people, he could not control other guests bringing their girlfriends along. They were all such close friends, so he couldn't just reject them for bringing a few friends over for some fun. Thus, if anyone was to blame for the uninvited group of guests, it would be his brother. After all, he had been attracting both the bees and the butterflies. Theo and Cleo had only exchanged looks for a moment. To an outsider, Theo seemed to have not changed at all. He looked at the girl in front of him and nodded in greeting, Miss Tiffany, and he did not say anything more. However, the fact that she was not ignored was more than enough to please her. Tiffany was contented and she released her nervously clasped fingers and revealed a smile. She then smoothly sat on the seat beside him and started to strike up a conversation with Theo. I'm really sorry about what happened the last time. My parents said that they were only bringing me to meet some familiar uncles and aunties, but who'd have known, Mr. Goldberg, you wouldn't mind, would you? The last time Theo had gone to observe their company's newly opened villa resort, Matthew and Margaret were also present at the villa on the pretense of enjoying a vacation with their friends. The people who were with them at that time were Sterling family's elders and Tiffany. As the resort owner and younger family member, Theo obviously had to host them, and it was then that he met Tiffany once. Obviously, Matthew and Margaret's vacation was a front to try and matchmake him and Tiffany. The plan was well thought out. They wanted to let the two young ones go shopping and have fun at the villa after meeting to let their feelings blossom. They did not expect that on that day, Theo would only accompany them for a half-an-hour meal and leave because of a work emergency. Theo nonchalantly said, "No worries." If it was not for their meeting today, he would have long forgotten such a thing had happened, so naturally, he did not mind at all. Tiffany looked as if she was relieved of a burden and laughed. "That's good then, I was still worried that you would feel obliged. After all, it is pretty awkward for such a thing to have happened. Just like you, I was totally clueless then, so I understand how you felt." Tiffany did not mention the matchmaking incident at all, neither did she hint it, nor did she act as if she liked Theo at all. Instead, she acted like she was in the same boat as him to start the conversation. That way, even if Theo was just being a gentleman, there was no way she could look shameless, and it was a common topic of conversation to chat about. Seeing that Tiffany and Theo were having a good conversation, the other women at the party who were here to cozy up to Theo were unhappy. What the hell? Bro, Theo finally joined a party like this for once, and she decided to hog him to herself. Sigh, this is what a good family background is for. With the right foundation, you won't feel afraid of striking up a conversation. Her every move is elegant. She deserves the title as Imperial's #1 socialite. What #1 socialite? She immediately went up to hook up with a man in front of so many people. She's only had dinner with him once, but she's making it seem like the Goldberg family have already accepted her. Chapter 532. Cleo, on the other hand, was thinking about how Luna was going to arrive soon and was worried if she would see anything that she should not have. He was suddenly so bothered that he did not even have the mood to flirt with the girls around him anymore. He carefully walked to his brother and said, "Bro, do you think we should just find an excuse to tell sister-in-law not to come anymore?" Theo's long fingers tapped on the chair's arm rhythmically before he finally said, "She should already be on the way. I'll send her a message later to tell her to go to my place." He could not risk anything. He then stood up and looked like he was ready to leave. Tiffany was not sure what Theo and Cleo had whispered to each other, but as soon as they were done, he looked like he was going to leave. As much as she appeared nonchalant, it was inevitable that she could not hide her sense of disappointment and embarrassment as she pleaded with her eyes, "Mr. Theo, leaving so soon? Don't you want to stay for a little while longer? Is there some sort of emergency?" When she said this, everyone surrounding them instantly perked up their ears. What? Theo is leaving so soon? He hadn't even stayed for more than 5 minutes, had he? The fact that his own brother was going to leave after staying for such a short while was extremely embarrassing for Cleo. However, it really was his fault for not planning properly tonight. Damn it. Why does bro Theo want to leave so soon? It must be because Tiffany annoyed him. Most probably. CEO Theo enjoys his quiet time the most. All of us admire CEO Theo, but we didn't dare disturb him, yet she shamelessly walked up to annoy him. Now we don't even have the chance to ogle him for the rest of the night anymore. How annoying. Just because she has a decent family background, she thinks that she can act as she wishes now. Listening to the frustrated discussion around her, Tiffany found it harder to ignore her annoyance. These goddamn women, what nonsense were they spewing? Theo was not leaving because he found her annoying. The last time she had met him, she was in love and had long decided on the man in front of her. She finally met him again today, so there was no way she would give up so easily. She was, after all, the Sterling family's princess. Even if she stood beside the Goldberg family, everyone would have to say they were a good match, no matter who it was. She dared to say that in the entire Imperial, no one would suit Theo better than she did. And other than Theo, she was not interested in anyone else. Since she was young, as long as it was something she wanted, she would definitely get it. This time would be no different. In fact, the both of them definitely had some fateful coincidences between them. She had just returned from overseas that night when she heard from a friend that Cleo had also just returned and was having a party. The cherry on top of that piece of news was that Theo would be coming as well. When she arrived, she saw him. Not only that, Theo, who had only ever worn cool colors, had actually broken tradition and wore a red tuxedo. In fact, it was the exact same color as her dress tonight. They were definitely meant to be. She felt so emotional that her heart was about to melt the moment she saw him. He was even more stunning than the first time they had met. This man. She must get her hands on him. When she thought about her end goal, Tiffany instantly regained her confident posture and chased after Theo, tittering in her 12-inch heels. "Mr. Theo, please wait, for me, ah." The combination of the sky-high heels Tiffany wore that night and the wet poolside tiles, she slipped and lost her balance in the next moment. She could already feel herself fall embarrassingly into the pool. Tiffany's face twisted into a horrified and hopeless expression as she could already see everyone waiting to watch her fall in and laugh at her. No, please no. Just as Tiffany shut her eyes, her heart sinking in humiliation, a black shadow suddenly whizzed over at lightning speed. Despite having a thin frame, a slight arm steadied her by the waist and she was soon pulled into a warm, safe embrace. The person managed to spin her around dramatically and save her before she fell into the water. A few meters away, Cleo was stunned by the scene in front of him, as if he was watching a novel's male protagonist in action. The young man that had just made such an angel-like entrance and smoothly saved Tiffany made the cup in his hand fall to the ground as he stuttered, "Sister-in-law?" Chapter 533. The man who held Tiffany by her waist and saved her wore a black jacket, with slightly messy hair and an attractive face that could charm both men and women. The most hypnotizing part was his pair of clear eyes, which drooped a little with a kind of lazy unruliness, yet he looked nonchalant, like nothing could really enter his heart. However, even if he were cruel, he was a charmer. But this man was practically an evil incubus here to charm mortals. Tiffany thought that she was done for this time. With her ego, it was hard to imagine what would have happened if she had really fallen into the pool today. Thank God, she actually avoided the embarrassment. The strong grip around her waist gave her an air of fresh calmness. When she subconsciously looked up, she was met with a pair of charming eyes. "Are you all right?" This man was like the others who would try to take advantage of her even if nothing had happened to her. When she had finally steadied herself, he did not wait for another minute to take his arm away and remain at a safe distance from her. In fact, he very thoughtfully moved her far away from the edge of the pool and stood on the side of it by himself. Looking at the person in front of her, Tiffany felt her heart beat frantically as she tried to thank him. Thank you." The man's mouth curved into a smile and sparked ripples of unknown feelings in her stomach as he replied, "My honor." The buckle on Tiffany's heel had come undone because it was twisted earlier, so as soon as the man had replied her, he very naturally bent down to help her buckle her heels properly again. Then, he held out a hand to the girl. Tiffany's fingers trembled slightly and she hesitated shortly before slowly offering her hand to him. The moment she touched his fingers, her cheeks immediately blushed against her wishes. Apart from a palm supporting her, the man was not in contact with any other parts of her body, as he slowly walked with her, supporting her to sit down on a chair. Initially, everyone watching on the sidelines was waiting for Imperial's #1 socialite, Tiffany, to make a fool of herself by falling into the water as a result of chasing a man. Who'd have known that at that moment, someone would appear out of thin air. In fact, this man was so quick that no one had noticed when he appeared. All the girls who had been complaining about a man who had ruined things were excitedly flushed at this point, even their words were all over the place. Oh, wow, he's handsome. Who's this man? Is it someone from within the circle? How have I never seen him? A certain socialite started to ask around as she blushed shyly. I don't know who that is either. But his skills are so impressive. That move earlier was so quick and smooth. Just like something we'd see on television. We've already seen Second Master and CEO Goldberg, so I thought I was immune to handsome men already. But what's happening? Why is my heart beating so fast? Ah. Me too, me too. I think it's love at first sight. What can we do? Who's that person? When did Second Master befriend someone like this? Luna's disguise was so good that even people who knew her could not realize that it was her. Of course, there were also exceptions. The moment she appeared, Theo could immediately recognize her. As for Cleo, he was completely oblivious. It was only when he saw the baby little treasure behind Luna that he thought of her. Cleo's brain was in a fog as he watched the situation unfold before him beyond control. The way Tiffany looked at Luna became increasingly odd, and the group of girls fawning over Luna grew, some even bothering him to ask about her identity. Amazing, my bro, pft. It's sister-in-law. Chapter 534. When she led Tiffany to sit on the chair, Luna did not leave immediately. Instead, she got the waiter to deliver a pair of flats and medicinal oil to heal sprains to her. She only got up to leave after she had taught Tiffany how to use it in detail. Luna was forever heartless to trashy men, but she would be unbelievably gentle towards cute and weak girls. To her, girls were born to be loved and taken care of. From a certain perspective, what Adam had said was not entirely wrong. One of Luna's hidden attributes was indeed a tenderness towards women. Tiffany just nodded listlessly to what the person in front of her was saying when in reality, she had not heard a single word. She only reacted when she saw that her savior was about to leave. She subconsciously tugged on his clothes hem as she said, "Hold on." Luna stopped her steps and looked over suspiciously. The way her brows raised into an arch hooked into hearts around her. Tiffany said in a shaky voice, I still don't really understand. Can you help me? Luna's brow arch stayed raised in an obvious expression. She could see right through Tiffany's heart. Tiffany immediately had a regretful expression on her face. Damn it, what was she doing? How could she request such a thing? However, she could not control herself. She just did that subconsciously because he did not want him to leave. Of course. There was no way Luna would embarrass a girl publicly, so she kneeled on one knee and lightly held the girl's fair ankle, warning, it might hurt a little. Endure it for a while. If I don't use force, the blood clot will not subside. Later, when you go home to put it on yourself, remember to press on these 2 acupuncture points. Follow my way and press it 5 times, do it for 3 sets until you start to feel the heat. Remember all of this? I remember now. Tiffany, who had always been arrogant, nodded obediently, even her voice softening quite a bit. No matter if it was the sunny and charming personality of Cleo, or the cool Theo, they were at the peak of fighting for power, akin to the olden days of the royal family. Yet, this mysterious man had an entirely different charisma. He was like a lone wolf in an endless field, rid of worldly shackles and was not restricted at all, with no one to tame him. Even though he was in the hustle and bustle of the city, he was not bound by the mundane and was free like the wind. No one could hold him down. He could be gentle but would never stay for you. This was someone a socialite like Tiffany had neither met nor experienced. It was inevitable that she would instantly fall for him. Not too far away, Cleo was entirely stunned. Amazing. Sister-in-law is just talented at hitting the girls up. Once she made her move, even I gave in to her. Could it be that women understand women better? She's overwhelming. If I were a woman, I wouldn't be able to resist either. All of a sudden, a hard gaze that would chill one to the bones suddenly fell on him. Cleo shivered, then carefully looked at his brother before shutting up. Theo was preparing to leave when he saw what happened. His eyes turned frigid and his beautifully carved face had a cold look on it. If there was a bar to indicate his anger above his head, it was currently increasing steadily. He was being careful because he was afraid his wife would misunderstand, but he never would have thought that he would be the one getting riled up and jealous. The person he was being match-made with had suddenly became his rival in love. Chapter 535. When Luna's heroic scene of saving the beauty had finally ended, she held the little bun's hand before walking towards Theo and Cleo. Her charm and aura were so powerful that it was only then that everyone noticed the little rice dumpling beside Luna too. Because those who were present were all close friends, many people immediately recognized the little bun. Ah! That little boy, isn't he CEO Goldberg's son? It is CEO Goldberg's son. I've met him once at Elder Goldberg's birthday banquet. Why would the Goldberg family's little master be so close to this guy? Could this man be a relative of the Goldberg family? Not necessarily a relative, but he must have a very close relationship with Theo and Cleo. Since they have a close relationship, why haven't we seen him before then? This is just weird. The remarkable sight of a rebellious-looking handsome guy holding a little dumpling's hand was like an arrow shooting straight through the hearts of the girls present, causing a wave of shrieks again. After Luna put on her disguise, even her actions were naturally that of a man's. She naturally hugged Theo by the shoulders as a form of greeting, then stuffed the little bun into his arms, asking, "You're here so early?" Theo looked gloomy and his thin lips were about to part, as if he wanted to say something. However, at last, he did not say anything and just looked miserable. At last, Cleo could not hold back and started demanding, "Luna, what are you trying to do by dressing up like this?" The first thing Luna did was to order fruit juice and desserts for the little bun. Once the little bun was taken care of, she heard Cleo's question and started to smile, her clear eyes looking teasingly at him. She then said matter-of-factly, "Of course, I'm trying to hit on the girls." Cleo was confused and went on, "Please. Are you trying to crash my party? Let us single ones live it up. The supply of girls is already scarce. You're a girl and you're here to steal the girls from us. What are you trying to do?" Cleo had intended to trick her but ended up as the fool, much to his chagrin. When the little bun was focused on his food, Luna took the opportunity to say in a lowered voice, "Hee, second master, let me remind you, you've stolen many men from girls as well." Cleo choked, then softly mumbled, "Well, of course, my good looks attract both men and women. However, there were many admirers, but now, no matter if it's girls or guys, they've all been stolen by you." Among those who had asked about Luna earlier were some pretty girls and even a gay who shyly walked over to ask Luna's name and where she was from. He was about to offer himself up for marriage, and from his hints, if that was not possible, he would be up for a one-night stand too. As for Theo, apart from Tiffany, no other girls dared to openly hit on him. However, Luna was different. Just as Luna sat down to chat with Cleo, two girls had taken the initiative to strike up a conversation with Theo. In fact, the both of them were very beautiful women, the most sought-after twins by all the bachelors present. They were the spitting image of each other. They wore the same body-hugging dress, one in white and the other in black. Chapter 536. The girl in black held a glass of red wine and looked at Luna flirtatiously. Then, she spoke flightily in front of Cleo, "Bro Cleo, don't you want to introduce your new friend to us?" As he watched the twin look at Luna seductively, Cleo felt his mouth twitch. Introduce, my ass. How was he supposed to introduce this person? As his sister-in-law? He felt psychologically exhausted. Cleo held his forehead to hide his expression and mumbled, "The two of you, ask him yourself." The two girls looked at each other, then walked straight to Luna. The girls in white smiled sweetly, "Hi, I'm Xiao Yen." The girl in black raised her glass and echoed, "I'm Xiao Ran. Shall we get to know each other?" Cleo gritted his teeth and whispered into Luna's ear, "Luna, you're quite the popular one. Big Xiao and small Xiao have high standards, this is their first time taking the initiative to flirt with a guy." Luna shot Cleo a look, then turned to the two girls and managed a short smile. Nice to meet you. The younger sister, Xiao Ran, immediately sat on the sofa beside Luna and inched very closely, practically sticking onto her. Handsome, what's your surname? Luna helped the little bun cut the cake into smaller bits as she answered, my surname is Wood. Even though Luna seemed nonchalant, Xiao Ran, who was only here on a manhunt, suddenly felt her heart skip a beat watching her thoughtfully take care of the kid. She only broke out of her daydream after a while and returned to smiling sweetly. Bro Wood, is it? Bro Wood, you seem really skilled in fighting, the older sister Qiao Yen asked with obvious interest. Luna smiled and tousled the little bun's soft hair as she leaned on his forehead to answer Qiao Yen, not really, just some freestyle martial arts. As they chatted, little Qiao immediately clung onto Luna and gushed, Bro Wood, you're so humble. We sisters have been interested in such things since a young age. Sadly, our family won't let us learn it. Bro Wood, would you teach us? Luna shot a look at the girl's uncomfortably close body and said without a change in expression, such a thing is not suitable for you girls. Cleo coughed from the sidelines. Not suitable for you girls? You punk, aren't you a girl? She was too into her acting role now. After getting rejected, little Qiao immediately asked sadly, Bro Wood, are you only saying this because you hate us? I'm afraid of hurting you too. However, I could teach you a few styles of simple self-defense. Okay. Bro Wood, you're really kind. This was when a few other girls saw the opportunity to join the crowd too. Can we join you? We want to learn too. The group of girls who came up to Luna pushed Cleo to the side until he had nowhere to sit and he could just walk to the only place where the girls did not dare step foot in, which was the space beside his brother. He said bitterly to him, Bro, do I still need to tell sister-in-law to leave? Cleo regretted it almost instantly after saying that. Leave, my ass. Luna was practically fitting in here, they were worrying for nothing. Now, the person he should be worried about was his brother. It was blatantly obvious that Theo's anger bar chart was continuing to accumulate. There was a saying that went, if one does not erupt in silence, one would be destroyed in silence. Cleo had a bad premonition as his eyelids started to twitch non-stop. He felt like something earth-shatteringly frightening might happen tonight. It could not go on like this, he had to think of something. Chapter 537. Cleo anxiously scratched the back of his ears. Then suddenly his eyes shone and he grabbed the little bun. He held his little shoulders and said with a serious tone, Little treasure, how can you only think of eating? Quickly ignite your galaxy fighting skills. Your Auntie Luna is about to be taken away. The little bun held a cup of fruit juice and had buttercream on one side of his mouth. He blinked innocently without any sense of urgency. They were all girls, why would he need to fight them? The little bun looked down and started to write on his writing board, girls. Gee, girls, they are all girls, that's right, but it's not just men you have to be careful of, girls are even scarier, okay? Cleo was completely at a loss, not knowing how to explain the crisis at hand to the little bun. Damn it, even little treasure was unreliable. The fact that the situation had progressed as such irked some people to the point that they could no longer look on at the scene unfolding before them. Some people would include the bachelors present. Everyone in the circle knew that a party by Cleo would be filled with the most pretty girls, and of the utmost quality too. That was why the moment they received the bachelors who were all immediately howled their way over. One of Cleo was enough to steal all the limelight, and now with Theo present, there was no place for them at all. Furthermore, when Theo was about to leave earlier, not only did he fail to, a heavy-duty atomic bomb had also made its way over to the party. And now, this random punk who had appeared out of nowhere had saved their goddess, Tiffany, even stealing all the attention of the women. How could they not hate him? With envy and jealousy boiling in them, fueled by hatred, they wanted to sabotage the Casanova. A brown-haired man walked over and handed Luna a cigarette, while he squinted with an unfriendly expression, Brother, we've never seen you before. Thanks, I'm quitting smoking. Luna did not accept the cigarette and took out a lollipop from Little Treasure's pocket to start sucking on that instead. Luna was indeed quitting smoking, but such an action was obviously seen as arrogance and not giving face. The man's expression darkened as he restrained himself, anger flashing across his eyes as he said, "Bro, shall we play?" Luna obviously knew what the bachelors present had in mind. She was gentle to girls but not to men. Since these people were submitting themselves for torture, she obviously would not be soft on them, and she replied instantly, "Okay." Then, she rubbed the little bun's head and said softly, "Little treasure, go wait over there with your father for a while. I'll go over to look for you real soon." Little treasure nodded and obediently went to look for his father. Not too far away, Theo watched his son run over him in clumsy steps and felt as though his wife was one of those carefree, do-as-she-pleases women outside while he was left at home to take care of the kid. On the other end of the room, the men started to play games. The table was fully lined up with alcohol bombs for the loser to drink. These bachelors were all familiar with this game, and all of them had the same revengeful intent to let Luna make a fool of herself, wanting to make her piss drunk. At the start, Theo was a little worried Luna would be taken advantage of. However, he noticed very quickly that he had little to be concerned about. Whether it came to cards or dice, Luna did not lose a single game. Instead, it was those men who had intentionally picked on her who were losing horribly. They lay sprawled across the table and drank until they were about to throw up. On the other hand, Luna, who had not drunk a single sip of alcohol, sat leisurely in the middle of the sofa, successfully harvesting all the hearts of the girls present. She probably had also turned some people gay on the spot. Chapter 538. It's no fun playing with you. You guys suck and you keep on losing. Why don't we play truth or dare, suggested Small Chow, excitement practically throbbing all over her face. Even though it was just a brief moment of meeting him, her interest in this man was piqued to an intense level. Most importantly, she realized that Tiffany was interested in him as well, but because of her social standing and her ties with Theo, she was not in the right position to make any move. She just watched them from a corner of the room instead. Small Chow had always gotten a kick out of harassing Tiffany, so she signaled her sister as they prepared to get into action. Truth or dare was the best way to create sparks among people in a party setting, and Big Chow was good at playing the game. Basically, she could make anyone her target as long as she intended for them to be. Of course, that was provided that Luna did not do anything out of her expectations. Small Chow held on Luna's arm and coyly said, "Bro Wood, that was your way of playing with the boys, but you can't bully us when you're playing with us." Luna would never try anything funny with the girls. It would all depend on luck, so she assured them, of course not. Small Chow was satisfied and she gave Big Chow another signal before starting the game. Unfortunately, luck was not on Luna's side tonight and she was it for a few rounds. Even though she knew that the twins had done something to the cards intentionally, she did not mind at all and played along. In the first round. "Bro Wood, truth or dare?" Small Chow asked with a sweet smile. Luna thought for a while before answering, "Truth." Usually, the first question would be to test the waters and should not be a controversial one. As expected, Small Chow asked a key question, but it was an easy one. "Bro Wood, do you have a girlfriend?" Obviously, many of them wanted to know as well, and even Small Chow was nervous. "Nope," Luna answered them straightforwardly. "Really? Bro Wood, don't try to lie to me." Luna smiled, "Of course not, it's the truth." Even though she said it very casually, her eyes shone and made people feel that she was telling the truth. Many of the girls were excited after they heard Luna's answer, vesting more interest in the game now, although they knew that the twins were rigging it. The second time, Luna was it once again. Small Chow cocked her head and urged, "Bro Wood, what about this time? Truth or dare?" Truth. The questions might get more exciting than the first one but should still be manageable. Small Chow acted like she was thinking really hard, then she asked slowly, "Bro Wood, how many girlfriends have you had before?" Luna was not surprised, but she raised her eyebrows and answered honestly, Sorry, I can't remember." She really forgot how many guys she had ever toyed with, only Adam was still in contact with her now. Luna stole a glance at the devil hidden in the shadows of the corner while she answered the question. "How naughty, Bro Wood." "I knew it, you must have had a lot of girlfriends before. Small Xiao pouted. It was expected that a charming man like him did, she was just asking out of curiosity. The third time when Luna was it again, she did not pick truth anymore. Dare. Chapter 539. When Luna was it again for the third time, she did not pick truth anymore. Dare. If she continued to choose truth, Small Xiao would never let her get away with any more simple questions. Who knew what sort of questions she would ask this time? If the devil was not here, she would not mind answering anything, but the devil was sitting right there, so she dared not to go overboard. Although Theo was just sitting in the corner like an invisible wallflower, Luna could detect his presence at all times, and she felt his gaze getting sharper by the minute. Someone who was jealous of Gong Shangzi would not be jealous of these girls, would he? Small Xiao was a little disappointed when Luna chose Dare, because her questions that she had mentally prepared would not be used, but she had an alternative. Small Xiao coughed lightly, then announced her plan. Dare, Bro Wood, the task is easy. Pick one of the girls among us tonight to be your girlfriend for half a day. Small Xiao felt bashful following the split-second stunned silence that came after. A man would surely understand what she meant. If he picked her, even if it was just a name game, she could make the act become the real deal. Half a day would transform into eternity. Actually, at first she was going to ask for a kiss, but she changed her mind. A kiss was not enough and she wanted more. She simply wanted everything from this man. Everyone understood what Small Xiao implied after hearing her request, and all the girls were jealous, but they kept quiet because they knew that they could not do anything against the twins. All the men were also helplessly watching this new kid snatch away their girls. Oh, my goddess, Small Xiao. Damn it. Don't worry, with Small Xiao gone, there's still Big Xiao. Big Xiao wouldn't be straggling far behind after Small Xiao was picked. They think alike, so naturally, they'd like the same type of guys. This kid settled Small Xiao, which means Big Xiao will fall right into his hands as well. This is what I call heavenly blessings. Damn it. Where did this kid come from? He just stole all our girls. Second Master, what are you doing? What about the singles party you promised us? You said that there'd be a bunch of pretty girls for us single ones. Is this what you meant by that? Cleo was annoyed that he was suddenly targeted, so he just replied, all of you can't even beat this one guy. Can you blame me for that? He was not cruel enough to tell them that they had lost to a girl. Small Xiao was patiently waiting for the man's answer, then she looked at Tiffany. At the corner, Tiffany chewed on her lower lip apprehensively after she was provoked by Small Xiao. She did not want to see them anymore, but she refused to leave, convincing herself that her target was Theo and not the mysterious man. Theo's treasured son was here today as well, so she should probably attempt to get closer to Theo and his son while everyone was focused on Luna. Chapter 540. Although Tiffany tried to convince herself to move on, her eyes and heart refused to listen. Her attention kept returning to Luna and Small Xiao. It was nerve-wracking. Would that man, would he really pick Small Xiao? How could it be? She was the one who came into contact with this man first. Tiffany could not watch this go on, her anger building up, and she did not want to just sit there and wait like a fool. Suddenly, everyone's eyes landed on Luna. Luna did not expect that Small Xiao would ask for such a thing. It sure made the situation a little awkward. Aside from the fact that the devil might already be jealous, even if the devil was not around, she still had her rationality intact. If it was just fooling around like giving Small Xiao a harmless kiss, Luna had no qualms about it. However, when it came to something as serious as being a girlfriend, even if it was an act, she could not bring herself to do it. She could toy around with guys, but she would never break a girl's heart. She did not want to give a girl false hope for something that was impossible. At first, Small Xiao was just having fun, but in between the games, Luna glimpsed a sense of seriousness in the girl's eyes. Luna stopped decisively. I'm sorry, I'll take the punishment and drink 3 shots, Luna replied. Everyone was surprised by her answer. They all thought that Luna and Small Xiao would get together tonight. No one expected Luna to take the punishment at the last moment. Especially Small Xiao, with disbelief clearly written on her face. Bro Wood, why? Luna smiled, and in a relaxed tone, she said, "There are too many pretty girls tonight and I couldn't pick one, so I'll pass." She knew that Luna was trying to give her a way out, but Small Chow was stubborn. She ignored her sister's reminder and threw her own reputation to the wind as she said, "Bro Wood, don't try to fool your way through. I want to know the reason." "Why?" Not minding the crowd around her, the girl had tears in her eyes and her disappointment was obvious. "Luna, what a headache." It was over now, things were getting out of hand. Basically, everyone who knew Luna well enough knew that she would freak out if a girl cried in front of her. Luna's heart tightened when she saw Small Chow about to cry. "Small Chow, don't cry, She was thinking about how to handle the situation with the least damage. Could she possibly go along with Small Chow's request first so that the girl would not feel embarrassed? Anyway, she was at fault tonight. Cleo wiped his face anxiously and prepared for the worst. He totally understood Luna's personality. She would probably agree with Small Chow's request under the attack of the pitiful tears. Everyone including Cleo was focused on Luna and Small Chow. No one noticed the devil had gotten up from his seat. Not a single person saw Theo stand up and walk slowly towards Luna. Until, as Luna was about to agree to the request, she felt a vice grip on her wrist and she was enveloped in an icy cold embrace. All of a sudden, a fiery kiss was unleashed, accurately landing on her lips.